Hi there, it's Myrna Loy again, Dark Shades, under the banner of Blackbright News, talking about the approach. It's a bit of a light-hearted video because it's about how men are supposed to know how to approach different women. And I was born in the 1950s, my daughters were born in the 1970s and the 1990s. So we've all got different expectations from men. We all still go out together and we have different expectations from men who approach us when we go out to socialise. Okay, for me, 1950s, 60s, when we went out, we were used to the masculine type of man. And it was okay for a man to pull you for a dance. You know, you'd make a little eye contact and, you know, you'd have maybe have a little smile, or maybe it would just be the eyes that did it. But you have the eyes and then he'd find his way over and he'd just pull you for a dance. There was nothing wrong with that. Then you have the 1990s generation, which I think they needed it to be tempered a little bit. They couldn't pull them as aggressively as they used to pull us in our day. And it was considered aggressive because there wasn't any smile or there wasn't any, sweet talking stuff. It was just like, one dance video, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? So, and that is what we liked. It was masculine, it was rough, it was all them kind of thing that you get used to back in the day. Then you have 1990s generation, and then they were more, I think they required a bit more politeness, maybe a little whisper, you know, can I dance with you? So the guy doesn't feel too embarrassed if she says no, it's not obvious what he's asking her or whatever. But then you have the more recent, the 1990s, or what they call the millennials as well, Generation Y. That's a totally different battle of fish. Now, because a lot of us, we don't look our age. Like, people say I look like I'm in my 40s, 50s. People say my daughter looks like she's in her 20s, 30s, and my other daughter, maybe she looks her age. I'm not quite sure. But the fact of the matter is that we are different generations with different expectations when we go out to socialise. So how does a man navigate that if he wants to approach a woman to get to know her? It's a difficult one because there are different techniques required. Now, he can either watch, if he's that interested, he can either stand by and listen to see how they're communicating, because not only do we have different generations, we're all different backgrounds. I'm not just talking about me and my family, but I'm talking about women in the dance place or women in a social situation. We all have different personalities. Some are introverts, some are extroverts, some are moralists, some are not. And you have all different kinds of characters. So it's not easy, is it? What was I going to say? Yeah, so I'm not quite sure how that can work other than a man has to play the safe option, because the safe option works with all generations. The safe option is the respectful option. You don't pull anyone. You don't pull anybody else and go and dance video. Or you don't lean over and invade somebody's personal space, because that's what some people do. And, you know, when I talk to some women, that's what they say. You know, he just leaned in on me, or he just grabbed me. Who the hell does he think who the hell does he think he is? I'm not his property. And you get remarks like that. So the safest bet is to treat all, well, I mean, you should be treating women with respect anyway. But what I'm trying to say is, back in the 70s and 80s, we never saw a man pulling us for a dance as being disrespectful. We didn't have all those labels. A man was interested in us. If we liked the look of him, that was all there was to it. It didn't matter his approach. Now it's a big deal. The approach is a big deal. And women, everything is under the respect banner. And some women see that as disrespectful to pull them, and then they behave or react disrespectfully because that's how they've perceived it to be. Doesn't mean it is, because that approach on another woman might not work, might not generate the same response, but you don't know. So like I'm saying, best to play the safe option with all generations because it'll work. The older generation is now accustomed to the new way of approaching. I think men have got so scared that all they're doing now is waiting for the woman to respond and say, look, I'd like to see you. But even then, sometimes, even if a woman does respond and say, look, you know, I'd like to see you, they still kind of stay in their little corner. So it's different strokes for different folks. You can't win. You just have to hope that whoever you approach is on your same wavelength, is amenable, and doesn't give you a bad impression of black women. Okay, that's all I've got to say, folks. Bye.